Election returns in South Florida. Totals telecast throughout the evening. 2 special half hours at 8:30 and 10:30 devoted to up-to-the-minute coverage.
That's right. You're right for.
He had justice on his mind, vengeance in his heart. Johnny Apollo, college man turned criminal. Don't miss Tyrone Power and Dorothy Lamour in Johnny Apollo, Tuesday night 4-star feature at 11:25. Mabel, Black Label.
It's a premium brew at a popular price.
We'll join Name That Tune immediately following the election returns. Your neighborhood Sinclair dealer now brings you the latest election returns from Election Central at WTVJ.
Good evening, everyone. Ralph Renick reporting at Election Central. The polls in Florida close at 7 o'clock. All those voters standing in line at that hour, of course, will be allowed to vote. And returns are coming in from varied parts of the state. In the first race tonight, 16 precincts have reported in the Holland Pepper battle for the Democratic nomination for the U.S. Senate seat. And for those returns, here's Joe Templeton.
This is by far the most hotly contested race in the state at the present time. In 16 out of 1,886 precincts reporting this early in the evening, Holland has 1,776 votes, Pepper 1,753. That's 16 out of 1,886 precincts reporting. Now back to Ralph Renick.
Let's switch now to the registrar's office on West Flagler Street for a direct report from newsman Del Frank.
This is Del Frank at the Dade County Voter Registration Building, your WTVJ downtown headquarters for tonight's election tally. With the closing of the polls just a half an hour ago, the wheels of progress here at the Dade County Voter Registration Office are just beginning to move. Ties are coming off, coats are being removed by the ambitious workers here. They're piling up pencils and papers and setting the machines in motion. So far, we have not had one single precinct report, but we expect them to be coming shortly. Now we return you to our studios, WTVJ and Ralph Renick.
We've just received our first precinct report here at Election Central. We'll have that information for you in just a moment. But to show you how these precinct reports are tabulated, let's switch to the IBM room and newsman Keith Leslie.
The man in charge of our computing center is WTVJ's controller, C.J. Ashe. C.J., will you explain how the IBM machine works, please?
Yes, based on information which we received from the precincts, Keith, cards have been punched for each candidate, and the cards are now in this counting machine, tabulating at a rate of 150 cards per minute. And the totals, as you see here, have just come in on the first few precincts, which will be posted on the boards out in the studio within about 60 seconds.
Thank you, C.J. Now back to Ralph Renick.
These returns are being transmitted by telephone to Election Central tonight by members of the Junior Chamber of Commerce. This is Jack TINKLEY, president of the Miami Junior Chamber. Jack, how's the system working out?
Ralph, I think it's going to work out very well. We have JCs from all of the clubs in this Dade County area, and they're out on these precincts, and as fast as they get the results, they're calling them in. And we hope that we can have them in ahead of anyone else in the whole county.
We thank you, Jack, for your cooperation. Now the first returns have come in from Dade County. Let's go back to Joe Templeton on that Holland Pepper race.
Here in Dade County, first return, 6 out of 145 precincts reporting show Pepper leading with 1,056 votes as compared to Holland's 765. That's 6 out of 145 precincts reporting now here in Dade County. Again, around the state, 38 out of 1,886 precincts reporting in the United States senatorial race. Holland is leading throughout the state. 6,147 votes for Holland. Pepper, 5,390. That's a look at the state, and here in Dade County for the United States race for senator. Now back to Ralph Renick.
And that's the report from Election Central at this moment. Stay tuned to Channel 4 tonight for the fastest election reporting.
We'll join Name That Tune now in progress.
Good night. Madison, Bicycle.
You voice it now at those Carib, Miami, Miracle, and Gateway theaters. He had justice on his mind, vengeance in his heart. Johnny Apollo, college man turned criminal. Don't miss Tyrone Power and Dorothy Lamour in Johnny Apollo, Tuesday night 4-star feature at 11:25. We'll join Mr. Adams and Eve immediately following the election returns. Your neighborhood Sinclair dealer now brings you the latest election returns from Election Central at WTVJ.
Now we have some totals to report for you. Let's go first to that Holland Pepper race statewide. 250 precincts reporting. Holland 58,632 to Pepper's 47,747. Holland ahead by about 10,000 votes. In Dade County, 23 precincts reporting out of 145. Pepper is leading Holland by about 1,000 votes, 6,892 to 5,870. Let's quickly look over in these other races. State House of Representatives, Group 1. This again was 23 precincts reporting. The Holohan-Matthews race very close. Holohan a slight lead, 4,677 to Matthews 4,433. In the Group 2 House of Legislative race, it's Orr, the incumbent, second. Eldridge is leading with 5,791 to Orr's 4,684. The other two candidates are trailing far back. Hawthorne with 582 and 518 for Paquette. In the Railroad and Public Utilities Commission race, the only returns we have, again, was 23 precincts reporting in Dade County. We have the Dade County man Bond, who's seeking to unseat the incumbent. Bond with a slight lead, 3,700 votes over King's 3,400 votes, and Morrell was 1,439. In Group 2, that's Jerry Carter's race. He's getting beaten here in Dade County. 23 precincts reporting out of 145. It's 3,695 for Blanton to Carter's 2,777. Fair with 1,066. And McDonald with 1,356. Let's switch over now to the other side of the set and get to those very important Metro Commission races here in Dade County, district by district. Let's start with District 1. 8 precincts reporting out of 38 in that district. The leading candidate is Lane with 1,064 votes. Well, let's go down the list from top to bottom. Atkinson 215. Blakely 141, Dunn 145, English 94, Fernandez 283, Hagler 157, Haverfield 825, Horsley 573, Lane we gave you, Markham 51, Turner 122, and Wainwright 790. So among these 12 candidates, it's Lane leading with over 1,000 votes. Haverfield is second with 825 votes. Wainwright is third with 790 votes. And those are the leaders. In District 2, with 4 out of 44 precincts reporting, it is Duval leading with 608 votes. McGahee second with 521. Third is Sasso with 419. Close behind is Phillips with 412. Trailing the field is O'Brien with 87. So we have Duval and McGahee leading there. In District 3, 8 precincts reporting out of 41. The candidate leading with a sizable margin is Boy with 943 votes. Trailing behind is Graham with 340, and then Irvin with 265, and then we come to Davenport with 179, Nolan with 170, Bartley with 139, and we have Faust with 135. So the leader there is Boyd. In District 4, 2 out of 11 precincts reporting. It's Boyce 42, Dorn 147, Flowers 121, Long 351, McManigal 61, O'Kell 92, Pomerant 16, and Weiss 312. So the two leaders here, way out in front of the field, Long 351, DeWeiss's 312. In District number 5 in Miami Beach, it's 1 precinct in, and the leading candidate at the moment is Hoffman with 150, Gordon second with 129, Richard with 118, and then we have Dickey with 14, Norton with 20, Ricky 20, and Wolf with 39. In the City of Miami District for the Metro Commission race, 13 out of 71 precincts reporting. It's Ashburn with 142, Horn 749, Hutto 1,220, Patton 1,266, Phillips 770, Smith 378, and Stearns 591. So the two leaders here, neck and neck, Hutto and Patton. So that's the picture up to the moment here at Election Central. We'll be back with you at 8:30.
We now join Mr. Adams and Eve in progress. Now, from the Television News Center of the South, the complete and up-to-the-minute coverage of the election returns, direct from Election Central in the WTVJ studios. brought to you by the Sinclair Refining Company and your nearby Sinclair dealer.
Ladies and gentlemen, the returns have been rolling out of our IBM machine, and we now, in most of the races, have more than just a trend. In some of the cases, the races have been decided. For example, Dade County, 89, reporting out of 145 precincts in the Holland Pepper race. We have Pepper leading with 37,829 to Holland's 30,245. Pepper is not faring quite as well in the state total, though, with 606 out of 1,886 precincts. It's Holland leading Pepper on the statewide basis, 140,000 to 104,000 votes. Now, Pepper's strength was to come from the large counties, Duval, Hillsborough, and Dade, and it was felt by the prognosticators that if Pepper, in the early stages of the return reporting, did not build up a sizable lead over Holland on a statewide basis, that his chances would be slim. And so at this stage, that appears to be just the picture, that Pepper's chances are slim based on this statewide tally. Let's look now at the Metro Commission races here in Dade County. We have 24 out of 38 precincts reporting in District 1, and here again you can get an idea of who the runoff candidates will be. Atkinson 732, Blakely 493, Dunn 505, English 378, Fernandez 1088, Hagler 612, Haverfield 3564, Horsley 2163, Lane 3985, Markham 202, and Turner 382, Wainwright 2244. So with 24 out of 38 precincts in, at this moment, it appears that Haverfield and Lane will be in the runoff in District 1 Metro Commission. Both those men have an individual lead of over 1,000 votes over the third competitor. And so, with 24 out of 38 again in, it appears that Lane and Haverfield will be in the runoff. District 1. Now District 2. Half the precincts have reported, 22 out of 44, and we see that McGahee is the leading man with a lead of 47-13. The second candidate is Sasso with 39-44, Phillips with 33-12, and Duval with 27-29, while Bryan trails with 4-48. So again, on the basis of half the precincts reporting in District 2, it's McGahee and Sasso currently leading, and at the moment at least, headed for a runoff. In District 3, 23 out of 41 precincts are in. The leader is Boyd with 4,149. At this stage of the game, Boyd is assured of being in the runoff, and it's a question now if he's going to make it without the necessity of a runoff. And if he gets 50% plus one vote, he will do just that. Boyd does have a margin of that nature at the moment. Bartlett 586, Davenport 797, Irvin 1376, Fowles 651, Graham 1461, and Nolan 631. At the moment, Boyd is winning without the need of a runoff contest. Now District 4, 7 out of 11 precincts in, and this will give you a good picture of who the two final candidates will be. Long is the leader with 1,005 votes. Weiss is second with 842. And trailing then comes Dorn with 571, O'Kell 282, McManigal 232, and Boyce 160, and Pomerantz 49. So to sum up again briefly, it's Long and Weiss in the runoff apparently in District 4. In District 5, 5 out of 11 precincts reporting. Richard is out in front. I'm sorry, Gordon is the leading man with 14-13. Richard's a close second with 13-49. It appears that Gordon and Richard are headed for the runoff there. The third candidate is Hoffman with 881. Then comes Wolf with 345, Dickey 175, Norton 145, and Ricky 67. In the city of Miami, with over half the precincts reporting, 45 out of 71. Here's the picture there. It's Hutto, the leader, with 52-16, and Patton close behind with 49-99. These are the two leaders. Again, headed for the runoff. Horn is third with 35-25. Ashburn has 577. The candidates on this side, Phillips with 2401, Stern 2395, Smith 1459, with Hutto and Patton the leaders in that order. Back with more returns after this report from your nearby Sinclair dealers.
In 1492, Columbus sailed the ocean blue,
And the first thing he did after landing was to tack up hundreds of signs which read, "Drive with care," and "By Sinclair."
If you care for your car, if you want top power and top mileage, see your Sinclair dealer for friendly service and new Sinclair Power X gasoline. Power X gives old cars new power and keeps newest, highest compression cars at peak power and mileage. That's because Power X with X Chemical eliminates power-robbing engine deposits. It works like a free engine tune-up. The results, top mileage in both city traffic and on the open road. See your Sinclair dealer for new, long-mileage Sinclair Power X gasoline. Remember the advice of Christopher Columbus.
Drive with care and "By Sinclair."
Sinclair Power X gasoline.
Ladies and gentlemen, a late report on the Pepper-Holland race in Dade County. 94 precincts now reporting out of 145 out of our election central IBM machine. And Pepper has 41,190. Holland has 32,85. There are some significant things to report in this race. In Hillsborough County, now complete, Pepper has lost. Hillsborough County, Holland has pulled 31,000 votes to Pepper's 29,000. Slim margin. But again, Pepper had to build up a lead in that county, and Duval and Dade, a margin that was felt by 40,000 votes in the three counties combined to stand a chance of beating Senator Pepper. So at this stage, it appears that Senator Holland has won his campaign for re-election to the U.S. Senate. Some surprising things, of course, can happen, but based on the information at this moment, it appears Pepper has lost. I'd like to point out that the Junior Chambers of Commerce in Dade County have stationed representatives at each of the 145 precincts, and these people have been responsible for telephoning the information in to Election Central. The information has been received on the telephone by the Communication Workers of America, these lovely telephone operators, members of Local 3107. So we want to thank the JCs. You just saw them a moment ago. They've come down to the studio bringing their tabulation sheets and turning them in, following the phoning of that information into our studio. And as I mentioned, these telephone operators have been busy on the phones taking down the information, which is then forwarded into our IBM machine. That's how we get it. Let's complete our rundown now with 81 precincts reporting out of 145. Here's Joe Templeton.
Thank you, Ralph. As Ralph said, 81 precincts reporting out of a total of 145. First, for the State House of Representatives, let's take a quick look at Group 1. Holohan is leading at the present time in a close race in Group 1. Holohan reports 21,776. Matthews reports 20,072. In Group 2, Eldridge seems to be leading at the present time by quite a majority. Eldridge reports 26,034, or 21,969. Hawthorne, 284. Paquette, 2,399. That's in Group 2 and Group 1 for the State House of Representatives. Let's switch over now to the Railroad and Public Utilities Commissioner. This, again, is in Group 1. First of all, to take a look at the county, no state report in yet. Bond is leading in the county, 17,661. King follows fairly closely with 15,989. Then Morrell with 6,944. Now in Group 2, we have both the state and county. First of all, let's take a quick look at the county. Blanton in the county leads with 16,963. Carter follows with 13,208. Then McDonald with 6,140 and Fair bringing up the rear with 5,029. Now for the state in Group 2, Blanton 6,430, Carter 11,578. Carter is leading at the present time in the state. Fair 3,004, McDonald 2,363. Now for Commissioner of Florida Inland Navigation District, Berger 4,768, leading in that area Guyton with 14,676. Then Wilson 11,517 and Perlman 6,788. Let's switch over now to the Board of Public Instruction in Group 1, Greenberg and Roberts. Roberts is leading at the present time by quite a large amount, 26,077 as compared to 11,789 for Greenberg. In Group 2, we have Yarborough leading by 23,630. We have Spear 6,436, Sipes 3,393, Harrigan 10,687. Swinging over here to the Board of Public Instruction, District 1, Butler is leading by quite a large amount. Butler 21,150. Shaw has 13,161. Now in District 2, it's Greenberg and Vosloo. Vosloo ahead at the present time, 21,688. Greenberg 11,203. And in District 3, Van Dusen is leading 25,624. Mitchell 12,544. I will repeat again, that's with 81 out of 145 precincts reporting at this time. Now back to Ralph Renick.
Well, thank you, Joe. To sum up, then, at this stage, it can be safely said that some of these races have definitely been decided. One which has not, and the closest race in the campaign tonight is this Holohan-Matthews race for the legislature. Holohan with a slim margin ahead of Matthews, a little over 1,000 votes. Now, Jack Orr, the incumbent in Group 2, is facing a very tough battle, and Eldridge is ahead of Orr by some 2,000 votes. I'm sorry, some 4,000 votes there, with Hawthorne and Piquette trailing. So at the moment, it appears a runoff would be needed between Eldridge and Orr, but if Eldridge increases his lead over Orr, it's possible that that race could be decided in Eldridge's favor, but that's still close, too close to tell. Over in the school board, it can be said at this time that all the incumbents have won re-election to the Dade County School Board. That's Roberts, Yarborough, Shaw, and Van Dusen. In the Metro Commission race, we're having new totals going on the board now. We'll get to that in a moment, but again, to sum up, with the precincts reporting in each of those races, in District 1, it was, well, I can't see. They're working over the board, so we'll wait till we get those final returns and the new totals. Now, statewide, we have 672 out of 1886 precincts for Holland, and his lead is still increasing, now 166,000 to 125,000. That's the picture here with these precincts reporting. Now let's get a report direct from the Dade County registration office on West Flagler Street, and here's newsman Del Frank.
Down or without more?
I'm going to take my picture.
Hi, this is Del Frank at the headquarters of the Dade County Voter Registration Building. Right now, we're in the midst of turmoil here as the voters' results are now being tabulated. We're watching, at the moment, some of our candidates standing by, looking around, hoping for that final tabulation to come in each one of their precincts. Some of the candidates here wiping away the tears from their smoke-filled eyes. Our new building here is somewhat smoke-clouded at the moment. It doesn't seem to be quite big enough for all the people who are trying to get in the doors. At the moment, our precinct total now stands at 31. And Phyllis, if I may have our precinct total for 31 a moment ago. Some of our candidates in the background are Mr. Hewlin Wrong, who's running for the County Commission, the District 4 race. At the moment, he seems to be ahead on our local tabulations here, but our tabulations at the studio are running a bit ahead of him. There's a Coke machine over here that's been set up just for this particular moment tonight during the election tabulation for free Cokes. And it's surprising that there's still a supply of Cokes in the machine. They've been going fast and furious. Some of our crew have been having to run back and forth to our very hot remote truck, which is standing outside the building now, trying to bring you the full picture and sound here from central headquarters of the voter registration. At the moment, Mr. Claude Brown, thinking of our retired former director, Mr. Carl Homer, Claude is now working in the background, frantically trying to keep up with the latest forms and figures coming in from all the precincts. Our totals here in tabulation now stand at about 79 or 80 precincts. Our last tabulation is 80 precincts. There is no actual definite report above 31, and I believe back at our studio we're running a slightly higher figure. We also saw from the beach race tonight, Mr. Carlos Fernandez came in just a short while ago, running for county commissioner in the Miami Beach District. There are so many people here, some of whom are standing by with cameras, newspaper pads and pencils, waiting to get their first report from the winning candidates in certain races. So we'll take you back now to our somewhat calmer studio And we'll be back with you later on in the evening from Central Headquarters, the Dade County Voter Registration Building.
Go west, young man, Horace Greeley cried. On Route 66, it's a wonderful ride. Be sure to drive with care and buy Sinclair.
If you care for your car, if you want top power and top mileage, see your Sinclair dealer for friendly service and Sinclair Power X gasoline. Power X gives old cars new power and keeps newest, highest compression cars at peak power and mileage. That's because Power X with X Chemical eliminates power-robbing engine deposits, works like a free engine tune-up. The result? Top mileage in both city traffic and on the open road. See your Sinclair dealer for new long-mileage Sinclair Power X gasoline. As Horace Greeley said,
be sure to drive with care and buy Sinclair.
Sinclair Power X gasoline.
We now have 114 precincts out of 145 reporting Dade County in the Pepper-Holland race. Pepper, 59,940 to Holland's 43,896. 114 out of 145 precincts. Now let's go down the board. We have new totals in all these races, those important Metro Commission races. District 1, nearly all the precincts complete, 33 out of 38 precincts. That's one of those 12 candidates there, and the margins have remained the same, and it can safely be said that Lane and Haverfield will go in the runoff in District 1. But now let's take the totals one by one to give you an idea of how your candidate fared in today's election. Atkinson, a little over 1,000 votes. Blakely, 700. Dunn, nearly 700. English, about 550. Fernandez, about 1,500. Hegler, nearly 800. And Haverfield, nearly totaling 5,000 at this point. Horsley, nearly 3,000. Lane, the high man, with 5,692. Markham, 293. Turner, 531. And Wainwright, nearly 3,000. Lane, the high man, and Haverfield, the second man, will be in the runoff in District 1 with those figures based on 33 out of 38 precincts. District 2, we have 29 out of 44 precincts reporting. The leader is McGahee with 6,723. This is a close race. Sasso close behind with 63 of 59. And then comes Phillips with 56.57. Duvall with 47.56, and O'Brien with 7.35. Now, McGahee and Sasso are headed for the runoff unless in those precincts yet to report, Phillips can gain a surge of votes. In District 3, 27 out of 41 precincts reporting. Here we have the leader, Boyd, still piling up a tremendous margin with over 5,000 votes compared to the other candidates. Bartlett over 700, and Davenport 1,000, Irvin nearly 2,000, Graham nearly 2,000, Faust and Nolan polling a little over 800 votes. So at the moment, Boyd is very close to a runoff, although he is still the leading candidate. Now, District 4, 9 out of 11 precincts, the picture remains the same as we told you before, with Long with 1,725 and Weiss a little over 1,100 headed for the runoff there, although Flowers with 1,008 votes, 2 precincts yet to report, could swing it, could pull ahead of Weiss and be in the runoff. Long is assured of a spot in the runoff at this moment. Weiss in the 200, Dorn nearly 1,000, McManigal over 400, O'Kell nearly 600, and Pomerantz with 78. So that's the picture in District 4. District 5, Miami Beach, 7 out of 11 precincts reporting. We have headed for a runoff. Richard, the high man, with 25-28 against Gordon with 24-04. The other candidates, Hoffman, 1,500, and Dickey, a little over 200. Norton, a little over 200. Rickey in the 100s, and Wolf in the 500 position. In the city of Miami District, 55 out of 71 precincts reporting, and this is shaping up into a close fight between Hutto and Patton, although at this moment, Hutto is maintaining a 500-vote lead over Patton on the basis of 6,886 votes for Hutto and 6,352 for Patton. The third man is Horn with 4601. Things could happen here, but if this trend continues, Hutto and Patton will end up in the runoff. Ashman's got nearly 800 votes. Phillips is the fourth man in that the fifth man in that race, with over 3,000. Stearns is fourth with a few votes more, and Smith, with nearly 2,000 votes, trails down the list. Now, that's the basis of the commission races at this moment. Let's see what Joe Templeton can report with 105 precincts in those other Dade County races.
All right, first let's take a look again at the State House of Representatives. In Group 1, HOLLAND is still leading, 31,960. Matthews, 29,871. Gives HOLLAND a 2,089 lead, which is pretty close. Group 2, Eldridge has 37,265, is still leading, or it's fairly close, 33,611, or is trailing by about 3,654 votes. Hawthorne, 4,126, and Paquette, 3,492. On Railroad and Public Utilities Commissioner, Group 1, on the county level, Bond, still leading, 25,775. King with 22,935. King is trailing at the present time, trailing Bond by about 2,840. Morrell, number 3, 10,743. In Group 2, for Railroad and Public Utilities Commissioner, first on the county level, Blanton is leading with 24,826. Carter has 19,339. Fair, 7,790. McDonald, 9,076. Now, on the state level, Carter is leading by 11,578, or with that total. Blanton has 6,430. Fair, 3,004. McDonald, 2,363. Down here for Commissioner of Florida Inland Navigation District, first Berger, 7,441, leading in that area. Guyton with 20,499. Wilson has 17,137. Perlman, 10,207. Now, for the Board of Public Instruction, this is Dade County, of course, Group 1, Greenberg has 17,884, but leading by quite a large number, Roberts with 38,141. In Group 2, Harrigan has 16,172, Sipes 5,040, Spear 10,083, and leading again by a large majority, Yarborough 34,238. Board of Public Instruction in Dade County, District 1, Butler is leading by quite a few votes, 31,288 to Shaw's 20,182. In District 2, Greenberg and Vossloh, it's Vossloh with 31,278 as compared to Greenberg 17,472. In District 3, Mitchell and Van Dusen. Mitchell is leading with 37,245 votes to Mitchell's 18,944. That's in District 3. Now let's swing back to Ralph Renick for a wrap-up.
Thank you, Joe. This note's just come from Jerry Flannery, who's standing by in Claude Pepper's headquarters here in Miami at the McAllister Hotel. Mr. Pepper voted in Tallahassee today and flew back in his chartered airplane, hitting some bad weather on the way. We understand that Mr. Pepper is now en route from Coral Gables to the headquarters at the McAllister Hotel. The latest totals show some bad news for Mr. Pepper. 737 out of 1,886 precincts reporting. It's Pepper trailing Holland, 181,779. The Pepper's 140,843. Here's the total just posted in Dade County with 117 out of 145 precincts. Pepper was 62,628. Holland was 46,043. Here's the picture.